What's up, everybody? Duane here. Go on mic, live with you from somewhere in Manhattan. I don't think they played our intro song there because I'm doing this on my phone. So shout out to all of you. I'm outside of the Canucks True North, which is one of the biggest hockey games in all of Manhattan. And this place was absolutely fucking loaded with Sabres. Thank you. It's amazing. I'm assuming you watched the whole game. First off, I want to say, I'm not trying to pump our own tires here. Girls, we had a lot of people recognize me and ask me about you in MSG today for the podcast. Literally a road game in New York City. At least 5 or 6 different people. So I think a couple clicks for us. I don't know if that means we're making the big time, but I thought that was pretty cool.
You hear me? You got me? Duane? Paging Duane? Oh, boy. Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
I can hear you now. We're good.
Good. All right. Small technical difficulties.
Were we live the entire time? Did I just screw that whole thing up?
You were playing under the intro, so it is what it is.
So real quick, guys, I apologize. We're doing this live from Manhattan. Were we live without the intro, or was the intro going the entire time?
The intro was going and you were speaking, but now we're good.
Okay. So I don't feel like an idiot. All right, guys. Hey, guys, everybody, welcome to I'll Hang Up and Listen, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room, with over 300 beers to choose from at 7 different Western New York locations. If you need a beer, you're celebrating a Sabres win, you're trying to find somewhere tonight to celebrate the Sabres win, big win, 5-3 over the New York Rangers, or you're just looking for somewhere to pregame or go somewhere to go for the game, get over to Fatty Beer. Let them know we sent you over 2 ways. And, of course, as always, Extreme Discount Mattress with Western New York's finest selection of mattresses and adjustable beds. So many different selections, over 100 different types of mattresses. With their new closeout center at 1625 Walden Avenue in Cheektowaga. Get even more savings off of one-of-a-kinds, closeouts and floor samples. Get a quality mattress for literally pennies on the dollar. Extreme Discount Mattress. We sell mattresses for less, a lot less. Sabres with a massive 5-3 win in MSG. Hurls, we had boots on the ground tonight. Sabres fans were very well represented. I do want to say, I'm not trying to pump our own tires here, but 2 goalies, 1 mic, got a lot of shout-outs tonight, Hurls. About 5 or 6 different people recognized me, asked about you. And mind you, I'm on the other side of the state, so I thought that was pretty cool for us. I don't know, maybe that means we're doing something right.
I was gonna say if you can make it in New York, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. I think that's a great.
For sure.
That
we got a lot of Sabres fans walking the street. Hey guys, you're live on my podcast. 2 goalies, 1 mic. Go Sabres! Go Sabres! The journey's over. Live in fucking New York. That's right, baby. Hey, podcast 2 goalies, 1 mic. Give us a follow.
Let's go.
2 goalies, 1 mic. 2 goalies, 1 mic. You're live on the show. Let's go.
Who's that sneaky Joe DiBiase?
No, this is Duane Steinau. Follow us, 2 goalies, 1 mic.
I will.
On Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.
Right on, buddy.
Let's get after it, guys. Go Sabres. I gotta pump our podcast.
Yeah, 100%. I think there are definitely a lot of Sabres fans in New York, and as we saw a couple weekends ago, there's a lot in LA as well. So I think the Saberhood, the Sabre fandom goes coast to coast, and that includes the entire country and a lot of people around the world as well. So it's always really cool to see at away games, especially when the team is doing as well as they are right now. But that was, I would say 75% of the game was really good. The second period was not great, and the special teams need some work. But they knew what they needed to do in the third period, and they were able to accomplish it with flying colors. Sole possession of at the top of the Atlantic once again. I don't know how many separate times that's happened in the past 2 months, but it seems like a lot at this point. And different than the other night, the Sabres now control their own destiny, I think, to win the division and get home ice for the first round of the playoffs. And you didn't hear the TNT broadcast at all, which was abysmal. they were trying to make the argument that the Sabres would probably, or they think the Sabres would be better off starting on the road for some reason, which I don't understand after not playing a home playoff game in
So I
15
heard a
years.
lot of stuff.
It was bad. It was really bad tonight. And I usually like Kenny Albert a lot, but even he decided not to call the game for over half the game for some reason. So it was bad.
It's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. I'll say this, man. I mean, the Sabres off to a great start, got the 2-0 lead. I mean, and the Sabres fans were loud. I was told, we've been doing our vlog all day from, when we started our road trip to when we got into the city, and even more so. And I can tell you, man, like I'm at this bar. It's called the Canuck True North. There's 2 different locations for this bar. And this second location that we went to, because we went to the first one and we came to this one, this place is loaded. I mean loaded with Sabres fans. So the Sabres fans were boots on the ground. They represented a nice shout out to all of them. And, never a doubt. We went down, we gave up 3 unanswered, and then going into that third, me, Greg, and my boy Kenny, like we were kind of like hesitant, like, oh no, like what's going to happen here? Like this might not be good. But sure as shit, man, they pulled through. They absolutely pulled through.
Yeah, I had some doubts, and I think it's specifically related to the special teams and how bad the penalty kill and the power play have been recently. The past 7 games have been a little bit brutal, and it's something they need to figure out in the final 3 games before the playoffs. But they, as you said, they realized what they needed to do. Alex Tuck, over the past 2 games, obviously has come to life. He is the player that I think everybody has talked about potentially re-signing even in the offseason, which looks like it's going to be an own rental at this point. He's going to hit the free agent market. Maybe he won't, but he's playing like a $10 million a year player at this current moment, and you could tell that he's ready for playoff hockey. He's a playoff-style player, and I think that he's at his best in these high-leverage situations, even in front of the net, tipping the puck in from Dahlin on that shot there, and Jason Zucker, 2 of the most veteran players on the team, getting the garbage goal in a very Jason Zucker-like fashion on the goal line, stuffing it in, past one of the best goalies in the world who didn't necessarily have his best night. Ryan McLeod's goal to begin the game was a very weak goal from Igor Shesterkin.
Oh, my God, that was like –
I mean,
that was wild.
It shows you that it does happen even to the best in the world, and also the team is obviously not great. They've been playing good recently. But, yeah, they got it done when they needed to, and it's a massive 2 points, especially in regulation.
Yeah, and listen, like any day you get Igor to let a goal in like that, I mean, you just got to keep putting pucks on that. Even the Tuck goal, like Krebs just threw a puck on that, and it made its way through, had eyes, found its way to Tuck, bacon off Tuck, and went in the net. Hey, we got some more Sabres fans. We're live on 2 goalies, 1 white, guys. How do you feel? Sabres, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Let's go.
All right, you're live on. You're live. So, it like. Tonight was just one of those nights, man. I mean, he made a couple of good saves, don't get me wrong. But when you get Igor to let a goal like that in, I mean, you got to take it full advantage to get pucks to the net.
Yeah, for sure. And I think they did a pretty good job. They outshot the Rangers. I think it was 27-20. And I think they largely controlled play. Obviously, special teams are an exception, and they really, really need to work on that, especially if they get into a 5-on-3 situation. Obviously, they didn't win that first draw, and that was important. But their spacing and their creativity when they have more ice needs to improve. It was good for a little bit, especially post-Olympic break. I thought they were trying a few new things, putting Tage in new spots. But at least recently, the past 7 or 8 games has been pretty bad. So something they need to figure out. But, yeah, they got off to a good start. I think they're 34-3-1 when scoring first this season. I saw that stat to begin the broadcast, something like that, or at least recently. And it's absolutely necessary for this team because they do usually play really, really well with the lead and rarely give up a lead like they did tonight.
Yeah, and listen, like, real quick before I get on my next point, I just want to give a shout out to all the cool Sabres fans we met. Ian, Ivan, Steven,
Dave.
We got Dave here. We're in a Beck Malestein jersey. You're live on 2 goalies. You're live on 2 goalies, 1 mic right now.
Hey, 2 goalies, 1 mic.
Let's
Shout
get
out
out.
to Beck Malestein. He's an absolute beast.
All right. The Malin Goat. Sean, Kobe, Andrew, whole lot of them. I think there's a couple guys I'm missing, and if I do, I apologize. But you guys were all absolute beauties. Without a doubt, man, it was an absolute blast hanging out with all of you. I think I got them all. Jim, Kobe, Sean, Ivan, Ian, Ethan, Andrew, Steven, Chris. Met Chris. Girls, there's a bar here. It's called Break Bar. And after you drink your beer, you get to take your glass into a room and break it. You throw it at a wall. And they have like projections on the wall of like different people that you might want to throw your glass at. It was sick.
Sounds like a great place to be after a loss.
Yeah, the Rangers fan, there might be a lot of people at Break Bar tonight throwing their glasses at the wall.
Season.
Getting down. And this was actually fan appreciation night for the Rangers. Got myself some type of Ranger helmet bobblehead here. So kind of stoked for that. But yeah, to your point, man, like they have struggled finding ways to keep leads as of late. This, not a great thing this late in the season. But never a doubt, man. I said it once earlier. Like they found a way to claw and scratch their way back into this one. And like, how about that goal by Zucker too? The patience there to get around Shesterkin's pad and wrap it in. Benny had a great game. What a selfless play from Doan. Just feeding it to Benson. Probably looking out for Benson. Doan has already gotten paid. He knows Benny's looking for a big paycheck. Probably trying to help him cash in a little bit more. But, Benson with 2 goals today off the tip, one with the shin pad. Just, finding a way to grind this one out and come back from behind. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was a really, really unselfish play. I think it showed the type of person that Josh Doan is. And I really think a lot of people believe, like myself, that he's future assistant captain material. I really think that him getting to that level of play that we saw in the beginning and the middle of the season is super important for this team in the playoffs. I saw somebody mention that the concept of facing Josh Doan and Zach Benson on a forecheck must be one of the most terrifying things an NHL player can face, because the two of them do it so well. And for them to combine on that empty net goal, I thought was really, really good. Just generally, I thought UPL had a pretty good night. I mean, I think some of the plays weren't necessarily on him. And with the news of Alex Lyon going down at practice,
which we didn't know about, obviously.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, hopefully it is not serious. Hopefully it's something that doesn't linger. But I think we potentially will see a Colton Ellis start if it is serious enough to keep him out of the game tomorrow. And that's another massive game. They can't afford any losses in these final 3 games if they expect to control their own destiny and win the Atlantic and get a guaranteed home ice advantage in the playoffs. So I wish him well. I hope it's not too bad, but I guess we'll see tomorrow.
Yep, and listen, tomorrow they have, who is it? Another big game against the Blue Jackets. A team that's like right there in the standings. Like again, like these standings aren't probably going to be filed out until the very final night of the season. So again, a very important game. And I thought Kesselring. I don't know how you felt about Kesselring, but I thought Kesselring looked good tonight. Obviously he's got some rust to shake off. Sorry for all the sirens. We are in New York City. And no, I can't go into the bar. I can't go into the bar because it's much louder in the bar, trust me. But I thought Kesselring and Timmins, they looked fine. Kesselring obviously hasn't played in a month and a half, so you're expecting to see a little rust there. But I have no problem with the way he played tonight. We'll see if it earns him another game tomorrow. I don't know. Obviously, you had Stanley, Shen, and Metza not in the lineup tonight. But I don't know. We'll see how Lindy feels. We'll see what his post-game, what he has to say in the post-game comments. Obviously, won't be able to read those tonight because I'm doing this from my phone. It's kind of hard to multitask. But, yeah, I don't know. What were your thoughts on Kesselring?
He had an early turnover, but that was pretty indicative of the entire defense early on. Samuelson had a really bad turnover in the middle of the slot. Power had a pretty bad turnover, and so did Samuelson. And so did Kesselring. So I think they all needed a wake-up call as a unit, and I think they did a much better job for the rest of the game. I think that he was largely fine. I saw a few negative comments about Connor Timmins. I think people are generally kind of low on him at the moment. I don't think that he's fully returned to his form following that broken leg. At this point, probably would still feel best with a combination of Metza and Kesselring on that third pair, or potentially even breaking up the top 4 to have positional versatility and people playing in the correct spots. But I don't know. It's hard to say. I would like to see him play these final 3 games to get into a position where you can make an educated judgment on his game leading into the playoffs, because the investment you made in him should make it worth it so that he should be in the lineup come playoff time if he is indeed 100% healthy. I think playing 10 minutes tonight was a ramp up, and if he can handle a back-to-back against Columbus tomorrow, maybe 12-plus minutes, hopefully that gives a better indication of where his game's at right now.
Yep. And you know what, man? Like, there's nothing I saw from Kesslering tonight that made me think he had to come out. He has to come out of the lineup. Like, for a first game back in probably like 40 days, like, that was fine to me. He played more than fine. So for me, like, just keep giving me games like that. Again, I didn't really see any turnovers from him. Sabres were turnover machines too in the first period. I think I counted like 3 egregious turnovers in the defensive zone, like right in the front of the net too, in like a high danger areas. But again, in terms of Kesslering, I was fine with the way he played tonight. And if Lindy decided to go back to him tomorrow, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, and I think that would be representative of where his health is at. If he's able to go on a back-to-back, I mean, only playing 10 minutes, I would hope that he would be. But, yeah, I think that's what you need to do for these final 3 games. You need to figure out what your best option is on that third pair so that game 1 of the playoffs, you're confident with your defensive unit beyond those top 2 pairs. I still believe that it would be smart to break up those top 2 pairs and get a little bit more versatility up and down the defensive core. But the way that those top 2 pairs are playing and have been playing all season, I'm not sure they're going to do it. So we'll see. I think that you can still rely on Byram and Dahlin and Samuelsson and Byram and Power. Largely, they're playing all 20-plus minutes a night. Dahlin played 24 tonight. Byram played 22. I think that's going to increase potentially closer to 30 for Dahlin in the playoffs, given the way that they utilize him. So we'll see what happens, but I think figuring out who is going to be on that third pair and who are going to be your 5th and 6th defensemen is really important in these final 3 games, aside from clearly getting those 3 wins.
100%, man. And I tend to agree with you. You know, we've talked about it a couple times in terms of the, breaking up that top 4. To your point, so it gives yourself some more versatility, especially on that bottom pairing. We'll see if Lindy does it. Like, I feel like Lindy is more of a creature of habit sometimes when it comes to the defense, especially those top 4. We haven't really seen him try and break those guys up for the most part all season. And they really haven't, outside of obviously Dahlin having to take a leave from the team for his fiance. We haven't really seen him break those guys up at all this season. So him being, like I said, a creature of habit, we'll see if, he decides to go in that direction. But Kesslering being a right-handed shot defenseman, Metsä being a right-handed shot defenseman, I don't know if they go back to Timmins. I mean, we'll see. It depends, man. I don't know. I mean, again, we don't know about his health and how healthy he was or wasn't and why it took this long to get this guy finally in the lineup. Lindy kind of indicated for a while that Kesslering was dealing with something, even though Kesslering himself said he was fine to play. So there was some disconnect there. But I don't know, man. Like, I don't know who you pair him with if you keep him in the lineup. Is it going to be Timmins? Is it going to be – I mean, these guys are all right-handed shot defensemen, so somebody's got to play on their offside.
Well, I mean, in that case, it could be Stanley, right? Like, if you the investments made to bring both Logan Stanley and Michael Kesselring to this team were significant. So it would make sense potentially that Logan Stanley and Michael Kesselring would be your third pair if you don't want to break up those top 2 pairings. I wouldn't necessarily be too upset with that. I think Stanley's been good in doses. Obviously, he's taken a little while to adjust to the team, and I think that his shooting percentage in Winnipeg hasn't necessarily translated here. But if he can be responsible in his own end, get the puck out of the zone, and have that physical presence that we've needed for a long time, I think that's important in the playoffs. Who knows if they'll dress 7? They probably won't. I can't imagine they will. So you got to figure out who those final 2 guys are. And if you're going to do the left-right pairing, I mean, Stanley and Metsä was good for a little bit. Everyone likes Metsä. Obviously, his luck has decreased recently in terms of not allowing a goal at 5-on-5. I think he's allowed 4 or 5 in the past 3 games. So I don't necessarily think that it's definitely going to be him. It's nice that they have options. They have 4 guys that are NHL quality players that they can plug in clearly against a team like the Lightning on Monday night and still survive. I just think that these final 3 games should be used for that purpose to figure out who it's going to be.
100%. Really, I make my next comment. I see some frustration in the chat with us not reading comments. I need to remind you all, I am doing this from my phone in the middle of Manhattan. It's loud. It's hard to read every single comment from my phone. So I do apologize. At least I'm trying to bring them up on screen. So at least you guys can be recognized here. Not intentionally not reading your comments. Plus, we already have like well over 100 comments in the chat. It's hard to keep up with, especially again on a phone in the cold. It is freezing out here. So I apologize, but I am trying to show you guys some love. Going into transitioning from there, Tuck getting his 31st goal of the season. He's starting to heat up. Tage, I thought, had a bunch of good looks tonight. Is there any particular player, Hurls, that you're kind of worried about heading into like this end of the season? For me, I know he's been very hot and cold. I'm gonna go and just say kind of like back to maybe the whipping boy that we've kind of off and on again. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about, Jack Quinn. That is a guy I think really needs to figure it out and be consistent heading into these final few games to get himself some confidence, because he's a top 6 guy as of right now, and we need him playing like a top 6 guy.
Yeah, he's also on the first power play unit. So if he's going to maintain that lofty status, he's got to play up to that standard. I would actually say Tage. I don't think he has been at his best for the past 5 games. I think that he was playing so unbelievably well leading into the Olympic break and coming right out of it that I think he set a pretty lofty standard for himself, obviously. And I just think these past few games he hasn't necessarily been at his best. And hopefully these final 3 will allow him to get back into form to get to a point where he will be that number 1 center that matters most for a team in the playoffs. Having 3 centers down the middle that you can really trust in McLeod and Norris, who have both gotten goals in the past couple of games, I think that's really important. I think is great too. But Tage needs to be at the highest possible level for this team to succeed in the playoffs. And I don't think that should be a surprise to anybody. But just the past few games, yeah, I have been a little bit concerned at his game in totality.
Yeah, I tend to agree. The power play I'm most concerned about. Listen, you're an idiot. My buddy Kenny just tried to drunkenly drop kick me in the middle of the sidewalk. They're yelling at me. I'm not turning it off. Get out of here. Get out of here. Stop. You're live. I'm live right now. Stop. Yes, I am. I'm literally live. Yeah, we will get in there. We'll end the show from inside the bar. Power play concerns me. It's just, I know we're not like last in the league. We're more of like middle of the pack, but it's such a frustrating thing to watch because it's just the same issues we see time and time again. Like, in my opinion, this power play is relatively, for the most part, only successful when you start with the offensive zone draw and you gain possession out the faceoff. Like, trying to get possession off that stupid slingshot breakout. I know even the Rangers do it. It's so frustrating because they just stack that blue line and they stop you pretty much right there. I mean, it might be successful that breakout might be successful 1 or every 6 times they try it. It's a super frustrating thing to watch. And I just wish like how they would, at some point when they're stacking that blue line, just dump it in and use your speed. Use your forward speed. You have a couple steps on them from the jump. Just use your speed and get in there. It's infuriating to watch, especially live.
Yeah, the zone entries have been pretty bad. They try the same thing every time. I think the slingshot works occasionally to create space, but just generally, especially Norris, tries the same pass entering the zone. And when you try the same thing over and over again, teams are going to have tape on it, and they're going to know what to do. I think teams largely stack the blue line, and they create a Berlin Wall of sorts that prevents these zone entries from happening. Of course, they want to enter with possession, but getting a little creative, soft dumps, cross-corner dumps, you got to do something else to gain entry into the zone, not necessarily with possession. It's not going to be that easy every time. These guys watch tape of the Sabres power play, and they're starting to figure it out, or they have all season because it necessarily hasn't been that good. But in the zone, I think you got to have more movement, be more creative. I think beating a dead horse, but trying the same things over and over again. The Tage one-timer on the slot, Darlene as the quarterback on the power play. A lot of shots are getting blocked, and they're not getting to the scoring areas, which is right around the crease or in front of the net. And Zucker's been great with that recently, and I think he's been largely the savior of this power play, especially in the second half of the season. But they need to get the two best players on the team and the most important players on the power play, Darlene and Tage, into better positions in high danger scoring areas, because right now they're just shooting way too much from the outside and pucks aren't getting to the net. Or it's easy for the goalie to see, which is the best thing a goalie wants to see on a power play.
This power play is the most successful when you get pucks and bodies to the net. You know, this whole let's get Tage in that same like Ovechkin spot. I'm sorry. They started moving him around a little bit after the Olympic break, and then they just kind of got back into those same patterns, and it's again so frustrating. I do want to bring a comment here from Kevin Walter. We are 30th in the league per 60 minutes on the power play. That is awful.
Yeah, it's bad. It's clearly not good enough, and it's been not even just this season. It's been bad for a long time. And if the same person is running it, I think there's a little bit of stubbornness involved, clearly, and there have not been that many changes. I think Jack Quinn on the first unit is definitely a choice. I think that having Tuck out there potentially in front of the net would be better, especially seeing the type of goal that he scored tonight. I think a first power play unit of Tuck, Zucker, Tage, Norris, and Darlene would be my preferred unit. But I don't know. I guess they've wanted to spread out the talent over the top two units, because the second unit does get out there a fair amount. I don't know. I think Tuck would be better suited on that first power play unit in front of the net or in the bumper, doing something to disrupt the goalie's eyesight, the goalie's eye line for pucks, because he's seeing pucks too easily and shots are getting blocked. Maybe a fake shot here and there, something different, something to offset what teams are being clearly so good at killing off these penalties.
Yep. For Alex, our seats were in section 226, front row between center ice and the blue line. I got them through work, incredible seats, and I see your other comment. Yeah, apparently you were at the game and I didn't want to talk to you. That's not the truth at all. If you would have told me you're at the game, I definitely would have got a beer with you. I got a beer with a couple people today. So let's kick it over to you for your final thoughts, Hurls, before we get out of here. We're close to 30 minutes going now. And I'm not going to lie, I'm freezing out here, so I want to get inside the bar. We will end the show in the bar. But your final thoughts heading into tomorrow, back-to-back. Could we see Colton Ellis tomorrow? If Lyon wasn't even healthy enough to dress tonight, or maybe the plan was, I know they said the plan all along was for him to not dress tonight, but we'll see. I'm not going to lie to you, man. I am even Lyon maybe at 90%. I don't even know if percent. I'd still probably roll the dice there and hoping he gets a win against Columbus. Because I think he wants redemption after the way things went the last time he was in net when he was left up to dry.
Yeah, maybe 90%, but anything below that, I wouldn't risk it, especially at his age. I think we both know that, especially if it's a lower body injury, that could be pretty dangerous for a goalie to, especially in a high leverage situation, try to play at 100%. So we'll see. I think it could be Ellis, and I'm fine with it. I think he's been good in spot starts this year in important situations. And going against the Blue Jackets, they are 2 points out of a playoff spot with, for them, 4 games to go. They are right on pace with the Senators. Tomorrow is a massive game for them. If they lose, it puts them in a really bad position. So it's going to be another desperate team, and I think the Sabres need to play like it as well, because if they lose any ground in terms of giving up games in hand to the Lightning, they're finally on the same pace in terms of games played as the Lightning. So I think that they need to play like the desperate team, and they need to play like they did in the third period tonight, and even in the first period against a team that they're clearly better than, that they can insert their will as much as they need to. I just think that this is a very winnable game, especially at home. Obviously, a back-to-back is tough, but it's not like a crazy amount of travel. There's a short flight back to Buffalo tonight. They'll get in relatively early. I think that they really need to work on their special teams, and that is going to be important, not only in these final 3 games, but in the first round of the playoffs and however far they go. Something they need to fix immediately. But great win tonight, massive comeback, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night.
Yeah, super excited. We're leaving to come back to Buffalo at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Again, this has been such a fun experience. My first time ever being at Madison Square Garden, let alone coming to a Sabres game versus the Rangers at Madison Square Garden. So this was a really fun experience. I'm so grateful we had the opportunity. Without that, I'm going to walk here into the Canuck and let you guys go. We got a lot of Sabres fans still in here. Bar is loaded with Sabres fans still. Again, a lot of people in here celebrating. Edmonton San Jose is going on our TV right now. Hey, we will talk to you guys later. And as always, go Sabres!